Let's shake things up a little, shall we? Every 3 months or so, I take the 20 biggest songs on the Billboard Hot 100 for that week and rank them from best to worst, give them a score based on 0 to 5, and then give my thoughts on the individual songs. The main reason I do this is to see what trends are occurring in popular music. So why am I taking a break from that proven formula? The first is that the current Billboard Hot 100 just gives me a headache to even look at. Not only are there way too many songs I've already talked about in my past rankings, so talking about them now would be repetitive, but the new entries are just so hard to tackle. Like, what am I supposed to say about this? Meanwhile, I could record a 40-minute video essay on this and still feel like I'm not touching on everything I could. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is that there's just too much positivity in the musical sphere right now. Call me a contrarian, but when everyone is praising the current state of popular music, I think it's important to point out the shit. And there's a lot of shit on the country charts. Ever since the death of bro country, artists have been taking the genre in so many different and very distinct directions. But somehow all of them are horrible. Yeah, this isn't going to be the most positive of videos, and if you want to tune out now, then feel free. But for those of you who are about to climb up shit mountain with me, I have an extra horse, so saddle up, and ye fucking haw.
I love you just the way God made you, girl, he don't make mistakes.
This may be a weird choice for the worst song out of the 20 here, but words cannot describe how much I fucking hate this. I hate this song for the same reason many people hate Girls Like You or Shape of You. It's not that there's a lot of bad, even though there is. It's more so the absence of good. Just the Way is clearly two artists who want to seize the proven success of the boyfriend country scene that inevitably crosses over to pop radio due to the lack of anything remotely sounding country. Most of the other songs in that subgenre at least have talented singers, or have some charming lines, but this song is devoid of any redeeming characteristics. Parmalee were a former bro country band that made Jason Aldean sound like Willie Nelson. And Blanco Brown got famous off a song in which he didn't have to sing. So neither of these acts have vocal talent. And the songwriting is the most cookie cutter of the I love you so here's a song pointing out all of your flaws formula, with a pinch of religion to make the whole move seem even more calculated. I guess I should have seen it coming from the guy whose only other hit so far is just an Old Town Road wannabe. Luckily, parasites die out when their host stops living, so once this wave of polished pop country starlights runs its course, these guys will have to move on from making shit like this.
I'd burn this whole town down, pick a spot, dig a hole, put them ashes in the ground.
You know, objectively speaking, this is probably worse than Just the Way on just a technical level. But I find this hilarious. Dude threatens to burn down the entire town over a breakup, but then says he won't because his mother lives there. This is probably the weirdest but blatant example of toxic masculinity in modern songwriting. What makes it even more edgelord is how unthreatening this sounds. There's no power or sense of danger coming from either the instrumentation, which is just more guitar-heavy boyfriend country, or Dustin Lynch, who has no raw power in his voice to sound like a threat. When I'm at my most cynical as a human being, I can just view this as a 12-year-old throwing a tantrum and think it's kind of funny. But when I'm not completely jaded because of how shitty life is, this just sounds like any other toxic gaslighting abusive boyfriend. And like those guys, we should toss this in the trash where it belongs. So I've talked about how my family and I got into country on this channel before. One day, 1-year-old me heard It's a Great Day to Be Alive by Travis Tritt and was so amazed by it that I wouldn't stop crying whenever my dad changed the station. A wholesome, cute story about one song making an entire family listen to country for over a decade. But what about the story of how I got out of country? Because that did happen briefly. It was 2016, and one day while my dad and I were in the car, we heard this song that was so bad that we both looked at each other and said, "Country's gotten pretty bad, hasn't it?" And then never listened to country radio ever again. What song could be so bad that it ruins an entire genre for you?
She would get down with somebody I know. I guess that's just how it goes when you break up in a small town.
Sam Hunt.
Try to let you go, something always reminds me. I bet breaking up was easy in the 90s.
This is especially bad even for Sam Hunt standards. He's doing the talk rapping shtick that feels jagged and completely improvised. There's also the stupid premise of thinking breakups were easier before Snapchat and Instagram came around. But Sam Hunt is from a small town where he'll still see his ex everywhere he goes. He even wrote a song about it.
You've got a cold heart and cold hard truth.
Speaking of hard to forget, I blame its success on this next song's entire existence.
You're just trying to catch a good time, even if it takes all night.
Good time, more like bad time. Am I right? Am I right? Please subscribe. This is the exact same fusion of trap and country that Hard to Forget was, but I don't love it like I do with that song. So what gives? The main thing I can think of is tempo. The main reason I loved Hard to Forget is because it was a fun song, and that was only possible due to the faster speed combined with the musical tricks like the banjo pickups on the pre-chorus and the guitar riffs throughout that made the song seem like light-hearted fun. Good Time has none of those tricks and is set to a sluggish tempo, making the trap hi-hats, booming bass, and guitar hollers feel overbearing and too spaced out to keep up a groove. It just sounds like the uncanny valley of country. Nico Moon also seems like the uncanny valley of people. One of my friends said he looks like a deep-faked country star, and I don't disagree. Maybe Nico Moon is just a country VTuber, and we've all been getting played by the higher-ups at Nashville. Nico Moon's sense of fun is just too outdated to be had by a real person. I don't know of anyone who spends their Friday nights sitting by a campfire and drinking moonshine, while picking on their guitars just right. It's such a weird phrasing. I'd be more concerned about what they're drinking if I wasn't already concerned with what they're drinking out of. The most damning evidence that Nico Moon isn't real is that he's drinking out of a yellow solo cup. A yellow solo cup. Really?
I've wasted on you all of this time and all of this money.
I actually have talked about this song before, so if you want my in-depth opinion on it, go check out my winner ranking. One new observation I do have is how the opening guitar line with the rhythm and even the notes is basically the exact same to the intro in Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks. Coincidentally, both songs are about resorting to alcoholism in order to get over a breakup. So what I'm saying is that these two songs are basically the same. If you ignore the lack of self-awareness, the flimsy trap snares, the pathetic lyrics, the lack of vocal range, the lack of charisma, and the depressing self-wallowing of Wasted on You. I recorded the winner ranking the week before Morgan Wallen got outed as a racist. Really bad timing in hindsight. But let's stop to consider how much this has shaken up the country industry. Morgan Wallen was the one person who figured out how to get huge streaming numbers in the country sphere, and had ridiculous sales numbers to boot. He is a country artist who had both grassroots support and the backing of Nashville radio. This man was set up to monopolize the third largest genre in America, becoming the Standard Oil of country. But that possibility is gone. At least for now, when radio is blacklisting him and streaming services took him off all of the official playlists, ruining his chances of getting big smashing singles. It's interesting to think about the world where Morgan Wallen didn't have a racist outburst. How many songs off his 30-track album would have been successful and made it onto Billboard's year-end lists? Well, Wasted on You probably would have been way more popular, and that alone makes me stop wondering about what could have been.
Love me like it should, like it wrote the book one.
If you gave this to any third-string male Nashville wannabe like Russell Dickerson or Chase Rice, it would just be another below-average boyfriend country song. I guess making this a girlfriend country song. It's a list-driven monologue about her husband being so good. What hinders it is how bad it sounds. Gabby Barrett clearly could have used some more time in American Idol, and Zach Cale is just the worst producer. He makes every song so crunchy and unnerving, ruining any sense of joy the song is supposed to have, when it's literally about how good your marriage is. Here it's mainly that buzzing synth at the end of the chorus. Like, why would anyone think that adding it is a good idea? Also, a conservative calling her husband one of the good ones is simultaneously hilarious and horrifying. We should probably check in on him, make sure he's safe.
Girl, nobody gonna love you like I do.
What a snooze fest. Discount Brett Eldridge over here decided trying to be Dan and Shay with the wedding imagery in the music video and overly repetitive lyrics is the best idea for his career.
I know the taste of your lips, every inch of your skin, the little things that turn you on.
That line is the sole reason it's at the bottom tier. If I hear one more artist talk about how their lover tastes, I'm gonna punch a hole in this drywall.
Your river give you a tissue. It's bad and bullshit, bad. I'm just so bad you exist.
I think the song title says it all. The highest form of compliment you can give is to say you're glad that they exist. That is a pretty low bar. I will give this song some credit for having an interesting percussion part that's added in the post-chorus breakdown.
So bad you exist.
It makes it more like a pop song, but not in a completely dry and bland manner that most other boyfriend country songs do. For that, I'll give it like a D for effort.
But I want that orange falling, keep the fire burning like the first.
Why is every single female in country overproduced? The song has the exact same problems as any Gabby Barrett song. Too much artificial loudness with checklist nature lyrics about a vague, uninteresting relationship that don't match the energy provided in the sound. It gets even worse on the bridge, where she has some light Imogen Heap style a cappella that sounds very bad.
And I want that orange falling, keep the fire burning like the first time, feeling no matter.
This is clearly trying to be a pop song, and I could totally see it being shipped to pop radio. The worst part is, I can't even blame Nashville for this, because Tennille Arts is Canadian. So I guess, fuck you, Saskatchewan.
How to be a lady.
This song is actually about Brett Young's real daughter, Presley Elizabeth, and his wife. You can tell he's trying to be sweet to both of them, giving some compliments to one that also implies the other is great. I bet both of them really love the way the song makes them feel. Too bad I'm the one reviewing this, cause I can't stand it. Brett Young is such a bland and expressive character. The only thing he can do well is act adorable, and that only really worked for me on the first song I heard from him. He has no other tricks. There's only one moment in the song that I remember, and it's not for a good reason.
She'll fix you, and me too.
That line is so unnecessary. It brings the build-up to a complete halt and ruins the flow just to interject a line about himself, and a song about his wife and kid. I've always known this guy would be big because I saw all of the popular white girls in high school share his song on Snapchat stories back in 2017, so maybe this is my fault for not preventing his rise to power. I'll take the blame for this one.
Long live all the small towners, sun up the sundowners, that old school Haggard and Hank.
In Long Live, Florida Georgia Line make a cookie cutter by the numbers anthem about all the things they hope will keep living on. Let's be real, no one cares about this song. It's bad, no one likes it, and it's not remotely interesting. And I'm sick and tired of talking about 5 songs in a row where it's just them repeating one phrase and then talking about the standard girls, trucks, and beer. So instead of talking about Long Live, I'm going to talk about a way more interesting song. Have you guys heard of our Lord and Savior New Truck?
I got a new truck, I got a new ride, I got it souped up, I like it too high.
I fucking love this song. I can't tell if that's ironic or unironic, but I do really enjoy New Truck. Like, what other song out there has both the ad-libs yeehaw and skirt?
I've been feeling real country and western, I like it too high.
Let's go through all the best moments of this song.
Shawty wanna ride, shawty when I roll by. Got some alligator skin on my silver ride. Dang straight, that's my name on them papers. Deuces up, see you. Cashed out on a brand new whip. I did not go to a dealership. Check out the cowboy drip. Peanut butter, leather, kangaroo, high drip. Still got the blue truck, the one that I've been had. But now it's a farm truck, it still got a dent in the back.
There have been a lot of people on the internet calling this the worst Florida Georgia Line song, or the worst country song, or even the worst song of all time. But I think I've decided that my love for this song is unironic. A song that is interesting will always be better than a song that is just completely bland. And New Truck is interesting as fuck. It's basically the hyperpop of bro country, and I am here for it. The woman I almost got with before I met my wife. What does your wife think about that? I'd probably bash the song even more if I didn't find the sound somewhat appealing. He's another country artist trying to inflict soul in his music, and while he's no Brett Eldridge, I think he is somewhat good. He kind of reminds me of Andy Grammer in those 2015 songs he released that everyone seemed to like. And if this is about his wife, I guess this is Honey, I'm Good. And I refuse to form an opinion on that song, so let's just move along.
Don't act like it's a bad thing to fall in love with me. Yeah, what's your country song?
I always like these meta commentaries on country music, even if they're a little bit simplistic. Thomas Rhett has clearly done his research and has a bunch of references lined up. According to Wikipedia, it's at least 16, which is quite a bit. He name-checks the classics like George Strait and Garth Brooks, to referencing modern stars like Jake Owen. His commitment to this gimmick is so strong that he even stole an entire chorus from Jason Aldean.
Everybody got a small town anthem. Everybody got a story to tell. About a mile on 4 Mill Road. That spot nobody knows. Everybody got a hallelujah. Everybody been through a little hell. We park the truck and we take off running. Hurry up, girl, I hear it coming. We were down to 1 a.m. listening to one more song.
Guys, this might be the best Luke Bryan song in ages. There is a good foundation on which a great song could be built upon here. The problem is that it's sung by Luke Bryan. He may not be the worst artist or the most hateable artist, but Luke Bryan is by far and away the least necessary star of the past decade. He doesn't sing well, his smug face gives him anti-charisma, he doesn't even contribute any writing to his songs. I'm not even sure if he can play an instrument, since every live show I look up on YouTube has him with a microphone and a backwards baseball cap twerking to the audience. He truly is the Fabian of modern country. We don't need him, and you can give any of his songs to any other country artist and they would be improved immediately. If you gave Down to One over to Thomas Rhett, or Jordan Davis, or Dan and Shay, or even any pop star, they would make it work. This concept also works in reverse. Yes, Luke Bryan can make already great songs sound bad if he sang them. Country writer and singer Hardy revealed that Luke Bryan almost got the song Sand in My Boots.
Maybe I should see him for myself.
It's honestly a contender for my favorite song of the year, and unfortunately it just missed the top 20 because someone had to go and pull a racism. If Luke Bryan had gotten it, I'm pretty sure I would be talking about it right now, but it wouldn't be as good as the Morgan Wallen version, because, say it with me now, Luke Bryan sucks.
Good for me, I'm just saying it's fine by me. Maybe some things last forever after all.
Luke Combs, on the other hand, can basically do no wrong. Him phoning it in is better than 3/4 of what's playing on country radio at any given time. But let's not kid ourselves. That's exactly what's going on in Forever After All. Lyrically, this is no different than the checklist-natured boyfriend country songs I've been bashing throughout the video. The difference here is that Luke Combs has pedal steel in his songs.
They say nothing lasts forever.
He also has real drums. One other difference I quickly want to point out is that Luke Combs kind of leans into the silliness by playing up the magical fantasy side of it all. Titling it Forever After All was a really brilliant choice.
Some things just go better together, and probably always will.
They're the exact same song. Is this song better than Forever After All? Honestly, it probably isn't. You probably should just swap the two rankings around. But I really didn't have much to say about this. This is just the exact same as Forever After All, but it's just thing A goes with thing B. You go with me. Another artist did that 2 years ago.
Knocking boots. Knocking boots. Yeah, I was made for you.
Would you guys just kill me if I said this was acoustic Better Together? And that's just acoustic Knockin' Boots. Country music, give me something to work with.
But I've let one too many come take me home.
Okay, I think I can work with this. Two people are in a relationship and fighting, and the guy's trying to go out to party in order to get his mind off everything, but just ends up alone and realizes that his relationship has devolved into toxic codependence. Really did not expect this from Keith Urban. I don't know. I never really knew what to think about him. I never really think about him in the first place. Other than his biggest hit, Blue Ain't Your Color, which is just Treat You Better but with more confidence, I never really had a strong opinion on his music. He always struck me as the black friend of country. You know, the guy who proves that country isn't just an American genre. He isn't really a presence in this song other than the guitar towards the end that I wish came in earlier to give this song a more rock edge. Most of this song's success just comes down to Pink being a great vocalist. Her presence here does make this more of a soul cut, and I'd barely call it country. Scratch that, I wouldn't call this country. But it is better than 90% of this list, and I'll take what I can get.
Feeling good, like I should.
You hold
I saw someone say that this is a love song for rebels, and I totally see it. There are some direct references to an outlaw lifestyle, but more importantly, Eric Church has always built himself up to be the outlaw of traditional country. His music incorporates rugged, harsh lyrics about the country scene that piss off Nashville executives. Probably why he doesn't get as much radio play as he should. Whenever I see him with a hit, it's usually the softer, nerdier side of Eric Church who cares about the genre's history, or just wants to write a love song. The interplay from the backing vocals helps convey the two-sided connection very well. They're actually provided by Casey Beathard, who is a longtime collaborator with Eric. I always love when artists give background collaborators opportunities to be on songs themselves, like with Jacob Collier on Good Days, or that one time Luke Combs got Amanda Shires on a song. But you know what would be even better way to show the connection between two partners in a song? Having your wife sing the backup vocals.
I'm a boss, I'm a bitch and a boss, I'ma shine like glass, I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, I'm a bitch and a boss, I'ma shine like glass,
Usually, picking my number one song on these top 20 lists takes some consideration, takes some thought from me, have to make some harsh cuts. This wasn't one of those lists. This was literally the easiest decision I've ever made in my life, and it wasn't even close. This is Chris Stapleton's best song. No, scratch that. This is country's best song. In like, the past 20 years at least. It incorporates every single element that makes country great. I could gush about this song for over 10 minutes, and I probably will sometime in the future. But for now, I'm only going to touch on two main points as to why I love this song so much. First off, this is unique for Chris Stapleton. Traveler got him famous off these crazy vocal runs he could do with his distinct Appalachian holler. But starting over is very reserved in terms of volume. But Chris Stapleton makes it work and proves he can sing with wisdom and soul in a restrained manner. Listening to Chris Stapleton's voice over this nice jaunty guitar calms me down whenever I'm in any sort of mood. And I can say that about maybe 5 other songs. That's how much I have respect for this. Second off, do you guys hear something? Listen closely.
And I got friends out on the coast.
Is that a bass line? In a country song? Why hasn't anyone else thought of that? I may have talked pretty harshly about many songs on this video, and I've had to power my way through a lot of garbage climbing through this country top 20. But listening to Starting Over and seeing its success on both the country charts and the Billboard Hot 100 has all been worth it for me. So Chris Stapleton, if you're out there listening to this video, the crown of country is currently ripe for the taking. Feel free to call yourself the king. If you add up all of the points from each song in their tier, you get a total of 33 out of a possible 100 points. That is very bad. Country has been in the grips of an identity crisis for a couple of years now, and that seems to be getting worse with the distinct number of sounds gaining success all clashing with each other at the top of the charts. The main trend seems to be the pop country easy listening schlock designed for teenage white girls and moms over 30 to hear on the radio. And as a fan of the more traditional sound, I can't say I'm a big fan of the direction country is going in. There are some bright spots, but my big fear is that country keeps losing the great distinctions that made it so big in the 90s, and just becomes a replacement for the top 40 stations that can't find a clean pop song. But anyways, that's the end of the video. I'm Romulus, and I'm gonna go listen to New Truck by Florida Georgia Line 10 more times on loop. And I think you should too.
I got a new truck, I got a new truck.